While we're on the topic of quarterbacks, what kind of cap hit will Mitchell Trubisky generate? And do you think a guy who was basically exiled to Buffalo and never heard from, never seen, last year we at least had evidence, number one, that he existed, and number two, that he played. This year we've seen nothing, but there's this buzz he's going to be a starter. Is the market that bad that a guy that disappeared for a year could end up being a starter, Peter?
Yes, of course. And look, there's been some buzz that the New York Giants, with two imports from Buffalo, the general manager and the head coach, are interested in Mitchell Trubisky. First thought about that. Let's say that you're Daniel Jones, and the new head coach and the new general manager say, we believe in Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is the guy who we think is going to take our team into the future. And yes, we're not going to guarantee the fifth-year option and all that. So he's got to sing for his supper this year. We believe in Daniel Jones. We believe in him. Now, it's way too strong, okay, to call Mitchell Trubisky the teacher's pet. Okay, and it's unfair. I have no idea what his personal relationship is with Brian Daboll or Joe Schoen. But let me ask you this question. How confident would you be and how trusting would you be if you were Daniel Jones and the coach comes from Buffalo, the general manager comes from Buffalo, and the backup quarterback in Buffalo, who probably has a chance in 3 or 4 cases around the NFL to battle for a starting job in training camp? How would you feel about that guy coming in with everybody saying, oh, no, he's just the backup. He's just the backup. In my opinion, that to me is not the way to go if you're the New York Giants and you truly want to give Daniel Jones every chance to be your long-term starter.
Yeah, but look, they may not pick up the fifth-year option on Daniel Jones, which undercuts everything they said about him at the press conference introducing both Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, a week or so apart as GM and head coach respectively. We're getting mixed messages already about Daniel Jones. The ultimate mixed signal would be, here comes Mitchell Trubisky. But you know what, Peter? I mean, look, it's up to Daniel Jones to deal with that pressure. It's up to Daniel Jones to figure out how to thrive, knowing that they have a plan B and they're protecting themselves in the event that Jones isn't the guy that they want. Well, because you got to protect yourself in the event that Jones just isn't the guy. They hope he can be the guy. They can't tell because they haven't had great coaching for the first 3 years of his career. So they need to be protected. But, Peter,
how do you know that Mitchell Trubisky is the guy?
Here's an important point.
This stuff,
because Daboll worked with him for a whole year.
Mitchell Trubisky one time. Yeah.
Right.
I've only seen Mitchell Trubisky as a starter in one place. And the result was, and again, with all due respect to Mitchell Trubisky, because it was a tough situation, he was a failure. And just because you worked with him and he never had to show anything other than playing in practice, I mean, this to me is a recipe for disaster. Just from the outside, I just think it's a mistake. I really do. And you know what, Mike? If Daniel Jones fails with the New York Giants, I hate to bring up, the draft lottery, or the whole concept that has made us talk about that so much. But what's the worst thing for the New York Giants? In a good year to draft a quarterback, having the 4th pick in the draft? Or you scratch and claw and do everything humanly possible and you win 2 more games so you have the 10th pick? All I'm saying is that give Daniel Jones every opportunity to win it. And then after that, you worry about your quarterback. I wouldn't be spending cap money when you already have to go way. Joe Schoen told me we got to clear $40 million in cap, off our cap to get ready for this season. I have no idea what Mitchell Trubisky would cost, but I don't really understand it. That's my point.
If I didn't know better, I would say you were suggesting John Mara should offer Brian Daboll $100,000 for each loss in November and December if they are languishing. I'm kidding. 2 things real quickly. First of all, Trubisky never got a fair shake with Matt Nagy because they hired the wrong coach to work with Trubisky. So we don't really know. Daboll knows Trubisky for 1 year, but the other side of it is this. If someone else sees Trubisky as a potential starter, aren't they going to offer more than what the Giants would offer to park him behind Daniel Jones, especially with the cap situation you're talking about? So even the mere possibility of Trubisky being the backup to Daniel Jones may be a little pie in the sky because someone else is going to give him a better opportunity to get to the field and more money for that opportunity. So I think that if Trubisky would end up as number 2 to Daniel Jones, it would mean that the market just wasn't there for him as a potential starter because the money would have been better. And it was so weird last year. All these backups, veteran backups who, aren't as accomplished as Mitchell Trubisky in that same bucket of mid-level quarterback at best, they got some decent contracts, and he just didn't. And that was kind of a surprise. So we'll see. He's become the most fascinating quarterback to me in free agency because of this possibility. He could be anywhere from starter to backup, and he could be anywhere from $15 million a year to $4 million a year, depending upon where he goes.
I, by the way, would disagree that Matt Nagy was the wrong quarterback coach for Trubisky. I mean, let's make 2 points. He was the tutor in 2017 for Patrick Mahomes, who spent hours with him every day. And I'm not saying that Patrick Mahomes would have been any less if, pick another guy, Mike Kafka, or whoever was his everyday, or Eric Bieniemy was his day-to-day tutor, whatever. I don't know. We don't know. But in his second year in Chicago, Trubisky had a 95 quarterback rating, played well. They went 12-4. At the end of his second year, it appeared like he was going to be pretty good, and then he imploded. Now, was that implosion due to the fact that he was coach lousy, or was that implosion due to the fact that he was lousy? I don't know. I mean, that is something that we could argue for a long time. But I don't accept the fact that Matt Nagy was a lousy coach, and that's why Mitchell Trubisky was lousy.
I'm not saying Matt Nagy was a lousy coach. I'm influenced by Chris's assessment of what Trubisky does well and that Matt Nagy never embraced what he does well. And that's the hallmark of great coaching. You adjust your system to fit the skills and abilities of the players. And my point was, I don't think Trubisky ever fit Nagy's offense, and we never saw enough flexibility from Nagy to adapt the offense to fit Trubisky, and that's how you potentially get to a point where there's an implosion. It's a combined responsibility between player and coach.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.